Welcome to Panel Performance. This is a first of many videos that we're going to be doing, looking at the software calibration using a WinOLS. We're going to do a lot of training guides, really, give back to the tuning industry. We've been in the tuning industry now well over 20 years, and I'm very passionate in the work I do, and I'm also very passionate in helping like-minded, passionate tuning companies around the world. It's good to give back within the tuning industry. There's a lot of awesome people who put a lot of time into the software development, the calibration, to tune vehicles correctly, and tune customers' vehicles correctly. Now, we do, or I do, put a lot of time into the development here at Pendle Performance. We do a lot of research and development on different makes and manufacturers. Over the years, we've become quite specialists within the diesel tuning community. Obviously, a lot of the transporters, but the 2-litre TDI engine that used in the transporters is used across all the VAG ranges, but also many diesel vehicles we specialise in now, albeit we started tuning Porsche engines and 1.8 turbo VAG vehicles like a lot of people did back in the day, but we have branched out into the diesels, and it seems that we've got a special knack for tuning them. Maybe it's the dirty spontaneous combustion engines that we like, I don't know. But this last couple of years, there's been a lot of tuning companies worldwide that have struggled with the Bosch EDC17C66 engine control unit that is used in the Mercedes Vito, the W447 model. They struggle with the torque monitoring strategy, and also they struggle with the limp mode when the engine temperature gets to 4 degrees and below. So we've been quite fortunate that we've had some amazing customers that have allowed us to have vehicles, because it is a intermittent fault. Obviously the temperature's got to get down, and it's not on all software versions. It's a few software versions that do this issue with low temperature, engine temperature below, well, it's when it gets to 4 degrees and below that it can throw limp mode. So we have really gone down, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the challenge of the software. I'm fortunate that I've got the Damos file for it. The Damos file doesn't match 100%, so I've had to really reverse engineer the file, looking at everything. But we're going to look at the WinOLS software now. So I'll just open up our database, and you can see we've got a lot of database here. We've got all the factory files, all the VAG factory files. I've also got databases for BMW, Ford, and various other stuff. So we'll look at as research and development database. We can see we've got the Vito in here, so we'll open the Vito up. Speed controller, that's what you want to be looking at within the Damos. I'll also open the Damos file up as well, so you can have a see how I cross-reference things. EDC17C66. ECUs. Within the tuning industry, there is a lot of people who do calibrate software like myself, and there's a lot of people who do copy files as well, and they collect files. I call them file farmers. They'll source a file from somewhere and they'll resell it on, and claim themselves to be custom tuning software, where it's not really the case. It's a lot of people pull wool over eyes, and unfortunately in the tuning industry, like I said, there's some amazing companies out there, and go out of their ways to help each other out, but there's also the ones what want to try and claim that they're tuning companies, and they'll go out of their way to try and I don't know what it is. I think when obviously money comes involved, things differ, don't they? But it's nice to get back. So let's have a look at this now. We'll have a look at the Damos file, and we'll look at how I've overcome the issues within this software. So first map that I want to be looking at, you do not need to turn the torque strategy monitoring off on this. You do not need to touch it at all. Leave it 100% working OEM, the torque monitoring maps. I'm looking at these maps here. This is one of the torque monitoring, functional monitoring maps. Leave it standard. You do not need to tune it at all. First map that you want to be looking at is an 8-bit map, and it's this map. It's the speed controller map. There is a single value switch to turn the speed controller off if you want. Let me try and find it within my software that I've calibrated. Switch. It's within here, the speed controller switch. In fact, I have put it within this software. 8-bit switch, and this will switch the speed controller off, deactivating a speed switching speed controller. So if you wanted to switch that off, obviously you've got to turn the speed controller off, so you won't have the cold start issue, people call it. And it isn't a cold start issue. The vehicle start perfectly fine. It's just when you set off and you get to 1640 engine RPM, the speed controller will start to correct the power and you'll lose all power. I'll show you within the map, but you can switch that off with this deactivating switch there, but I don't want to do that. I want to have it working. Pardon me. I want to have it working. But if we have a look at the Damos file and we look at the switching speed controller, you can see all the maps within the Damos. And this is what I've researched and looked at to develop the map pack for these, which if anyone needs a map pack, we can supply it. So you can see within the Damos file here, this is a different Damos file. Like I say, it doesn't match 100%. So you've got to build your own map pack for these, really. And like I say, we do have it here. So that's the first map you want to be looking at. Then we've got some single byte. I'll go through this quite fast. You know, you guys out there who are tuning stuff, you're going to be knowing anyway. So I don't need to go in depth of it. You've got some single value torque limiters. First one being here. Yeah, I'll show you kind of whereabouts in the map. Then you've got another there. And again, if you get these single value torque limiters, you do not need to turn the torque strategy off on these softwares. You do not need to turn the torque strategy. So I think there's 3 single value torque limiters. Calibrate them perfectly fine, and you can scale this up to 550 newton meters of torque. You know, you use your torque to injection quantity map, which is scaled on the axis to 550. Then you can inject up to 120 milligrams of fuel if you get the boost pressure correct. And then you do not need to turn the torque strategy off at all. As you can see, the injection quantity limiter, we've got up to 120 milligrams of fuel there, which is the full scaling of the torque to injection quantity map. There's a single value injection quantity limiter there, which you need to set if you want 120 milligrams of fuel. There's another limiter map here. I've put what's this. There's nothing on the Damos file, so I just do need to do some data logging on that. But the second one for the speed controller, like I said, is an 8-bit one at the front of the map, which I've shown you, and then there's a 16-bit one here. So I'll just open the one at the front as well, so you can see that. And you've got one here as well. So the front one is a correction map based on percentage, obviously fully up to 1640, and then the 16-bit one is based on torque. So obviously you need to tune that accordingly to the tuning that you doing on the engine 550 newton meters of torque. We know the torque to injection quantity map scale to 550, so we might as well use the full scaling for that, so 550 newton meters of torque. And then obviously we tune the 8-bit one as well. So we're not going to hit limp mode at 1640 engine RPM. when it gets below 4 degrees or gets to 4 degrees. Then it's quite a simple software to tune. After that, you've got a few limiters. You've got your turbo maps, which you can tune them. We run these quite mild. We hold the boost across 4,000 RPM, then start dropping off. So you tune that to however you think. We have them. We don't put much boost on. You're not needed really, because they are scaled up to 110 milligrams of fuel. So there's not much needed really on the turbo maps. Like I say, you've got your torque to injection quantity map there. That's scaled up to 550 newtons of torque. We want 120 milligrams of fuel because that's what we're requesting on as injection quantity limiter map. Then you've got some injection quantity limiter maps from your map sensor, from your boost. So obviously you want to tune them accordingly. Another one. It is quite a simple software to tune this once you've got the single value torque limiters, and also you've got the speed controller maps calibrated correctly, so you're not going to hit the correction at 1640 RPM when the engine temperature is at 4 degrees or below. Then you've got some gear limiter ones here. They want to be set at 550 or whatever else you're requesting. You might want to be tuning to 500 newton meters of torque on your torque to injection quantity scaling. So scale that to 500. It's entirely up to your calibration of this software. You've got some EGT limiters there. I like to run these standard diesel vehicles. They run quite low EGTs. And within the UK, when we have got, well, we don't pretty much get good weather here at all. It's quite cold all the time. But in the UK, I like to run them a little bit warmer, so it keeps your DPF cleaner and safer. It's going to do what's called a passive regen easier if the exhaust manifold is hotter, meaning the DPF is going to be hotter, meaning you're going to have a cleaner DPF. So you're not going to get as many regens. It's all about getting the correct air-fuel ratio as well, so we get the correct back on the map there. You've got a torque limiter map as well. So that is a look at the software of and you can see we've got it called Mountain Base 1. Once I've done all the development, that's what I call my tuning. But this is what I do day in, day out. I do not fit oil filters on engines. I don't service vehicles. I tune engines day in, day out. I use WinOLS every single day. I've got all the Damos files for pretty much every vehicle that I need to tune. And this is what I do. I do the research and development and do calibration on software day in, day out. This is all I do. I'm fortunate. I've got one of the best dyno cells you can buy. I've got the Maha MSR 500 linked 4-wheel drive dyno. I've got a sealed air controlled dyno cell because I can simulate winds up to 140 mile an hour. I can do back-to-back dyno tests. I can hold it steady state at whatever engine RPM and load I want, data logging it with some amazing tools out there now. The sample rate of the data logging is absolutely superb. Data logging is paramount when doing any development of a vehicle, because you need that data to be then able to go and calibrate the software to suit. So that's a look. These videos are going to get better. You know, we're having the office decorated, but I am putting more technology into iReg Quarter so I can do better videos for you guys to learn from. So thanks for watching, and we will do a lot more videos soon. Cheers.